Then start. Very old. She's a PhD. Get that. Now she's retired. So now she's actively into research. Mrinal Kulkarni. You.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you had teas, coffees, and snacks, and that was to ensure that you don't fall asleep. Afternoon time in Pune is for what we call in Marathi वामकुक्षी. मी थोडं मराठीमध्ये पण बोलणार आहे कारण we have a mixed crowd, but mostly it will be in English and Marathi as a wherever practically possible. So, welcome to Manjiri's book release event in the name of, and its translation, Kasha Kashacha Navane. Please have a seat. I will just clear off the basic domestics as soon as possible. First of all, सगळ्यांनी आपापले फोन म्यूटवर ठेवा प्लीज. समजा तुम्हाला माहीत नसेल तर शेजारच्यांना विचारा, म्हणजे पण 100% म्यूटवर ठेवला, कारण काल माझी स्वतःचीच गडबड झाली. येस्टरडे आय मेड दिस अनाउन्समेंट इन अबाउट 5 minutes टाइम माय फोन स्टार्टेड रिंगिंग. So this time I have been very careful. I just made it silent before coming up on the stage. So please ensure that. It is going to be an engaging discussion. Everyone will enjoy the whole session if they are able to concentrate. Secondly, those who have young children and may have to exit because of children being not very happy about getting bored, then please sit on this side so that you can exit the auditorium as quickly and as easily possible. There is a children's corner just around this, behind the Maya Care sort of a table that we have. So if anyone would like to make use of that, you can take your children there. Are we locking the auditorium? Someone might be still coming. Okay. So let me quickly run through the agenda. First of all, we are going to have Manjiri's. Manjiri will be talking about her book in brief, and she has a few slides to show to introduce the book to everyone. And then after that, we'll request Mrinalji to speak, because she has come all the way, adjusted her schedule and come all the way. She has to rush to Mumbai for a shoot, which is quite early tomorrow morning. So that's why we have reshuffled our sort of normal flow of book release. We'll ask Mrinal to say a few words after that, and then we will do the formal book release process, which is just opening the foiled book, and not foiled, but a book which has been covered, and we open it up. We'll do that. Followed by that, there will be book reading that will be done by 3 ladies, which will be introduced later as we come to that process. Book reading again gives you an idea about the content of the book, the flow of the book, and that really helps for you to understand what is happening, because after that, at the end, we will have a Q&A. And that is going to be the most interesting part. I'm not sure how long Mrinal can stay, but that is where a lot of questions can come up on the topic that is there. Yesterday in Mumbai, we had a very good engaging session. It continued much beyond the stipulated time, which was great. But we'll try and keep this as much in a controlled form as possible, but we encourage questions. We had requested few people to give their questions in advance at the reception. I haven't got anything in hand yet, but I will check later. Of course, questions, ad hoc questions, whichever you might think about, you'll be given an opportunity to ask that as well. So having said that, I will pass on to Uma. She is my co-host for the day.
Thank you, Abhay. Good afternoon, good evening. किती वाजलेत? Good evening म्हणायला हरकत नाही. It is my pleasure to introduce Manjiri Gokhale Joshi. As Uma Gokhale Soman, I have known Manjiri Gokhale Joshi all my life, and introducing her is quite the challenge. So मी इंग्लिशमध्ये इंट्रोड्यूस करणार आहे, पण ज्यांना मराठीत इंट्रोडक्शन आवडेल त्यांना मी असं म्हणेन, लुक एट ऑल द पीपल अराउंड मंजिरी. मंजिरीच्या आजूबाजूची जी लोकं आहेत त्यांच्याकडे बघा, तीच मंजिरीची इंट्रोडक्शन आहे. वेदर तिची शाळेतली लोकं आहेत, कॉलेजमधली लोकं आहेत, डान्सची लोकं आहेत, माया केअरची लोकं आहेत, ऑक्सफर्डची लोकं आहेत, GTTची लोकं आहेत, लोकच लोकं. This is something Manjiri does very, very well. But on to the formal introduction. Former Diversity and Inclusion Head at Said Business School, Oxford University, and former CEO, Manjiri trains and coaches leaders through her company Elephant Connect. She was selected by LinkedIn to assist Virgin founder Sir Richard Branson judge and mentor entrepreneurs. She won the She Inspires Agents of Change UK National Award for nurturing a team of disabled leaders who managed the charity she co-founded, Maya Care. An MSc in Major Program Management from Oxford University and the recipient of the British High Commission Chevening Scholarship, her books are used for leadership training. She's married to Abhay Joshi. They have 2 daughters, Tanvi and Mahi. And as if these achievements were not enough, in just a few weeks, Manjiri starts her doctoral degree in Disability Leadership and Administration at the Queen Mary University, London. Please give a warm welcome to Manjiri.
Thank you. I won't say welcome and all of those things again. I just have a reason why my mother's photo is here today. It's the first book after she passed away. And I think a lot of people here would know Dr. Vidya Gokhale, so I'm not going to talk more about her. But the reason for this particular book, this picture is so important, is the topic of the book. So before I actually dwell into the topic of the book, I'll tell you what happened in Mumbai yesterday. I'm now talking about it openly because we had to change the venue for Mumbai at 24 hours, less than 24 hours notice. And it was a government-run venue, and everything was fine till suddenly we were told that the venue is not available, the vice-chancellor is not available, and we have to remove their logo when they wanted all of it earlier. And we don't know what the reason is, but when Abhay yesterday had to go and pick up the books from the old venue, and then we could actually do it at the Mumbai Patrakar Sangh, Marathi Patrakar Sangh, which was excellent. They gave it to us at very short notice, for which our team, Jyoti and everyone else, has worked relentlessly to make that happen. But we found, what Abhay found was there was no other event there, because we were told there is some government event, which is why we're not being given the venue. And this is the India we're living in today. And this is not the India we grew up in. And this is not the world we want to give to our children. And that is the reason for this book. And that is the reason why I think, not like Uma said, first thing my mother and my father is, of course, here, Dr. Suresh Gokhale. The way they brought us up, we were never asked whose surname is what and how we should be treating them differently. And that's not what we want. That is absolutely not what we want. And I'm very proud to tell you the principal of my school, Mrs. Samuel is here, Sheila Samuel. We went to St. Helena's School. And in the school we went to, we were never asked. We were absolutely never asked because everything was equal, everything was, we just grew up going there, believing we are there to get an education. And it was a convent school very much, you know, the best of English was taught there and all of that. And yes, of course, one thing happened in that kind of education. And Dr. Sudha Kanitkar, she's here, so she will remember. Dr. Shrotri, your professor, Dr. Shrotri, had once said to my mother that, why are you sending her to this convent school? Because that means we've just lost an author in Marathi. That's what he said to her when he read what I had written first. So to bring back why my mother is so important today is that she brought us back to Marathi culture. Through that, because otherwise, you know, just Mrs. Samuel taught us Hindi, and then we were taught very little Marathi in school, a lot more Hindi, but very little Marathi. And my mother would take us back, my brother Madan, who's here, and us, back to our own culture, where we came from, Marathi theatre, Marathi music, Marathi, everything, Abhangas, and say, it's the same with our daughters today. They speak fluent Marathi without any British accents. And it's very important to get the best of all. So that is the reason, and that's all I'm going to say about anything else. And then we are going to why. And this is the last slide, which actually has a caption, because the rest of it is you talking. The rest of the slides have no captions. They are pictures. And we are hoping you will guess what the picture is. And so you have to compete with the Mumbai audience yesterday and the UK audience last month. And a lot of guesswork happened, and it went really well. So why, in the name of why Kasha Kashacha Navane, is what the book is. Yes. Can you guess what images these denote and their year of occurrence, if possible, if not at least something you might recognize in the image? The first one. Preeti, you might. She grew up in the UK, so yeah. It's a very recent image from the UK, yes. No, it's not the Queen's birth. It's not a happy event. It's a sad event. Yes, yet it was, yes? Yes, it was the anniversary of the 2005 bombing, which was very recent now in July. So the point I'm trying to make is nothing is historic. Everything is current. The news is very much there that we are not equal and we are not wanted and we are not, let's fight over something. That is the news, really. So this is the first one. I think everybody would know this one. Pahalgam, yes, absolutely. Pahalgam. And I don't have to talk too much about this here. In the UK, we had to explain why Operation Sindoor and what the root of all of that was. First thing, if we were not two countries, why would we fight if we were one country to start with? So that is the root of the book. Why partition? Why partition in the first place? Again, this is something in the UK, in London. Residential apartment, yes. Yes, absolutely, Vinita. So this is Grenfell Towers. It's based in East London. It's an apartment block in East London. If you see the timings, 1:30 a.m. and to 5:16 a.m., how rapidly that building burned down. That's not natural. If a building burns in any part of the world, it doesn't burn like that. And the reason that burnt, and especially in a very, very highly developed country like the UK, is because it was neglected. Not just neglected, very, very low quality wrapping material was used. The cladding was so badly done that it burned so fast. People were asked to stay inside, and 72 people died. And most of the population was of Asian and black origin. So it was a big scandal, Grenfell Towers. It features in the book, and obviously everything I'm saying, it features bits of it in the book. It is a pure work of fiction. In all ways, it is fiction, but it's set against all of these real events where they come to the fore. And I keep saying this is not history. This is now. This is happening now. This features very closely in the book. They are the victims of the Manchester Arena attack in 2017. So it was just a music concert that people had gone for. And in the book, so now I'm talking about the fiction. In the book, the character called Sriram Godse, is the character in the book, Ira's husband, the protagonist Ira's husband. And he's in Manchester at the railway station. He's not even gone for the concert. He's just gone to the railway station because he's gone for some work to get somebody's signature. And he's mildly autistic in the book. And when he hears the blast, he just drops his suitcase and he starts running. And he runs inside the arena instead of outside. He doesn't know what is happening. And he sees the bodies of all these people, including an 8-year-old girl who's just come to watch a music concert. And he's traumatized forever, and he dies soon after. He commits suicide soon after. So that is the tragedy of the book. And this is just 2017. This is not very long ago. Not just 2017, I'm saying this is still going on. Look at this. This is the Manchester Arena report, still going on. This is last month. In the court, it's still going on. This is the circle on top. That is the young man who lived in Manchester of Syrian origin. He used his student loan money to build a bomb where he was staying in someone's house. And they were taking revenge or whatever else people had to say. He committed suicide through this. His brother is now in prison. And just 3 months ago, it was all over the news. He happened to throw cooking oil, hot cooking oil, over a prison officer. It doesn't end. It's not ending. It's not stopping. Where this is. We all know this. Yes. Everyone knows. We all know him as well. We also know what he was told, why he had to do this. He was a young boy. We all had what we had, strong feelings towards him. But ultimately, in 2008, Mahi and I used to stay in Mahalakshmi, very close to where he was, in Arthur Road prison. And, we used to think, what is this young boy in a... Of course, everybody had a lot to say about how he was kept in air conditioning and everything else. But what is this young boy being told? His family has not owned him. His country has not owned him. And he was given some kind of story about how he's going to reach heaven and get some publicity, and that's all. That's all it takes to kill so many people. So this is indoctrination there. What you see in the book is indoctrination of another kind, of Samir Godse, who's the protagonist in this book. Do you remember him? Same story. Yes, anyone? Baby Moshe, yes. Chabad House. This little boy in the bottom picture, he was 2 years old when 26/11 happened. This is Sandra Samuels, his ayah, his nurse, who rescued him because she found him next to the corpses of his parents who had been killed in the attack. But on top, what you see is the happy Mumbai story. You know, yesterday Mumbaikars loved this story. It is a very happy story because he was taken to Israel. Then his grandparents came from Israel, took him back with Sandra. She went to Israel. She stayed there for 10 years. They're back after 10 years. And the Mumbai and the world we want to live in and give to our children, that world welcomed them with open arms. It was a multi-faith welcome. Apart from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, everybody, all faiths, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, everyone went and welcomed the boy. And that is the Mumbai we want, back. Very important part of the book, because it's the Mumbai where we say that, you know, the book begins in Plaza Cinema Dadar. If anybody here from Mumbai? Yes, it begins in Plaza Cinema Dadar. And they're watching a movie, and everything is fine till 1992, and we're all enjoying the popcorn, and life is actually very nice, because if we just have some popcorn and soft drinks, in India, life is actually okay. There's no problem, no serious problem in life, till this happened. And suddenly, Omar Siddiqui and Ira Dikshit stopped being welcomed in each other's homes. After 1992, nothing is the same, ever again. That's the starting point of the book. So what happens next is a little bit that they don't get to be together after that. He is arrested for his supposed role in the blast which followed this. And then she's packed off by her grandmother, Saguna Dikshit. She is sent to UK, married to Sri Ram Godse. That is the start of the story. Of course, we remember this. We had to explain to people in Britain what this is, but we all know this by heart. At least in school, we were told to know this by heart. And the question is that sovereign, secular, socialist, democratic republic, the one we had, has the secular been, is it still there? Is it meant to be there or not there? That also plays a very strong role in the book, preamble. This is Pune. The top picture is from Pune, not very far from here. Yes, Nathuram Godse, that's the trial. At the bottom you see, that is the first picture on the left is Nathuram Godse, next to him is Narayan Apte. The person in the glasses at the very back, that is Savarkar. That is the picture of them at the trial, when Nathuram Godse's trial was taking place. But what do you see on top? All of you know Sambhaji Park. In front of Sambhaji Park, there's a pizza place and everything else, and on top of that is this Samadhi to Nathuram Godse in somebody's office. You can go if you want. We went, Abhay and I went. And what is kept there is the urn of ashes, the common urn of Nathuram Godse and Narayan Apte. And there is the shirt he was wearing, the white shirt he was wearing when he killed Gandhi. And there is the will. And the most important part is the will. Because the will says, immerse these ashes in the Jhelum river. Sorry, not Jhelum, the Indus river, Sindhu river. Sindhu Nadi, only after Pakistan becomes part of India again. So everybody's laughing. I'm hoping that, of course, we are very unlikely to see this. I don't know if the next generation will see it or not, but that is the crux of the book, right? Why did Godse kill Gandhi? And there are so many theories and so many, for and against and everything which is happening. And one of the things in the book, and when we met the Godse family, we asked them, and they said, have you given his point of view in the book? Have you written about it? And actually, there is a PDF available. It's here, but it's also available online. The 21 Reasons Why I Killed Gandhi. It's also a book. May I please, Your Honor? And among the many reasons, and everything which is false about him, that he was a fanatic, he was this, that, whatever else, the top 2 reasons. The first was partition. That he let partition happen. When he could have stopped it, is what Nathuram Godse and his colleagues truly believe, that he could have stopped it, number 1. Second, he gave 55 crores of rupees to that country while they went away, such a small country. And of course, he died just in a few months, but if he would have seen what has happened to those 55 crores and how they have been used in the past so many years, that's the second. And the third, and we were talking to Prashant and Adishri this morning about it, is that in 1945, the Gandhi who believed in ahimsa sent Indian soldiers to war from the British side. And he said, why? So among the many reasons. So once again, this book is it's not endorsing Gandhi or Godse or anyone's philosophy. And we are definitely not endorsing killing anyone. But this is the truth which we don't know. These are things which we are never taught. It's never out. Manjiri, you should know this. This is your favorite city. This is Manjiri Prabhu, who is the author of a recent mystery book in Oxford. So this is Mr. Radcliffe from Oxford. Mr. Radcliffe from Oxford was told, draw a line. Here's a map and draw a line. And that's the line he drew instead of the Akhanda Bharat we had. And anybody been to Amritsar? Yes? The Wagah border? Yes. If you go to the museum, you must have seen the video they play the video of Radcliffe. He said, I can't sleep at night. What have I done? I did not realize how many people died or what could have happened. And why? Also in advance, because Lord Mountbatten and other colleagues and Gandhi and everyone else decided instead of 1948, they will give us freedom in 1947. So 8-10 months in advance, this line was drawn. So what is in the name of? It's certainly not in the name of the people of India. It is always politics. It's always something else. What is this? So this ship is called the Windrush, Empire Windrush. And it is a ship full of Caribbean residents, right? People of Caribbean origin, black people, coming into England. And they were brought into England. Why? To work. Because England needed people to work. Most of the men had died in the war, and they needed people to work. So they worked as truck drivers, nurses, everything else, which is all fine. You know, they built lives for themselves. They did well. The picture at the bottom is very recent, 2017, the Windrush scandal. Because suddenly the government decided that these people they're not British. So now go back. Go back to whichever country you came from, show us your passport, find something, and they had nothing to show. So it was a huge scandal, deportation, very, very ill, really bad treatment of very elderly people. So this is very tightly connected in the book, because what we have is Sri Ram Godse's sister, Swati Godse. She has been abandoned by her own family, the Godse family in England, because she has run away, eloped with a Caribbean man. And that side of the family has come here on the Windrush, Empire Windrush. Anyone has been here? Auschwitz, Poland. Yes? Yes. Some people have been here? Yeah. You have? Okay. Okay. How sad is that? Terrible, terrible, terrible. This is the concentration camp. It says Arbeit macht frei in German, means work makes you free. In reality, Polish people, sorry, not just Polish people, people across Europe, Jewish people were brought in trains, brought here. They have still kept some of the rails and all of that to show the compartments. They were brought there. They were checked. Can you work? You can't work. Can you work? If you can't work, die immediately. If you can work, we will, starve you so that you will die. 6 million people died like that. It still continues. Himmat zali nahi. It's very, very difficult. Even in the book, chapter 24, it's like very cathartic. Aditi has translated the chapter. It's very painful, that chapter. Because on the wall, among many other things on the wall, what you see is an Aryan test. Hitler's Aryan test. 12 points to check whether human beings, how Aryan are they? How white is their skin? How green are their eyes? Whatever else. And how disabled you are. That's why she says, if you had Asperger's syndrome, autism, or whatever else, they would just send you off somewhere else and pretend it was pneumonia and just kill you. If we don't stop this, it's going to get there somewhere. That is what I'm trying to say, that stop it now. Let's stop it now, because it didn't end. It's back and forth, back and forth. Then somebody took revenge for this. Then somebody else is taking revenge for that. Going on. Yes? Might recognize this movie, yeah? Schindler's List. Yes, Schindler's List. And that's what, Mrinal, it was so nice in England. People said, oh, why is this important to you? And we were telling our children that when we were young, the newspapers were very boring and the TV news was even more boring. So we actually had no interest in all of that. But the movies brought us close. So actually my cousin, Dr. Sulba Karandikar, she's here. You had given me a book when I was 10 years old, Odessa File, as a birthday gift. And, why will I know, living on Tilak Road, Sadashivpet, why will I know about this? That's a starting point. Books and movies were everything. So this movie was very important for us. It opened a lot of eyes there. Yes, so this is the dedication in the book. It's dedicated to the memory of anybody, all of those who lost their lives. So we are starting in the book now, Nativity Plays. Yes, in school, yes, of course, we had all of this. And it was very recently, a lovely thing happened. Last year when I was working at Oxford University at the Side Business School, among many other things, as part of my role as EDI head, Equality, Diversity, Inclusion head, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in the Western world. Oh, are we not being diverse? Are we being, are we doing something wrong? So in that fear, we said, let's start addressing this fear by knowing about each other's festivals. And for the first time in the history of Oxford University, they lit up Oxford for Diwali outside the Side Business School, and people were stopping and taking pictures. So we had Diwali, we had Lunar New Year, we had Eid. And my favorite Eid picture of that year is when we celebrated Eid. The dean was of Indian origin. Our head of, our professor of accounting is a Pakistani person working there. And the head of student services, she was Bangladeshi. And we said, we will all take a picture. I said, this is my best Eid in the world, because this is Akhanda Bharat for me. And everyone was doing everything. So people can have whatever they have, but the truth is that terrorism is bad, but the professor of accounting and the head of student services and the dean of Oxford University cannot be bad, because they're from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So let's make that differentiation. That's what the book is trying to say. So this is the fun nativity play where the book starts, Omar and Ira at their school play, having fun when they're 6 years old and walking together. This is how people in Mumbai go for a movie. And people in the UK were utterly shocked that you can actually go for a movie like this and still enjoy a movie. This is life. This is Mrinal, thanks to you and your fraternity. This has just kept us happy. Films have just kept us happy forever. They still do. We loved it. We absolutely loved it. And it was okay. That time, all the stereotypes were okay. We just swallowed everything they showed us. We were completely fine with everything. We don't have to believe anything actually really happens. Blood donation, all kinds of things in this movie, the blood groups matching. In the end, it's all fun. Everything is okay. And we swallowed it. It was a great fun. As long as Amitabh Bachchan is dancing, what more do you need? It's fine. And so Muhammad Ali Road, yes. And there are roads like this in Pune as well, right? Now, what shocked somebody in the UK, one of our daughter's friends, he's from Oxford again, he said, I didn't know people just go and eat like that. I thought it's a very holy thing, and then you have to actually do, fast and eat. I said, we never fast, but we go to Muhammad Ali Road and we eat. Right? That's the fun of it. He was very surprised that this is the kind of integration which really exists. It's a very, I would say, pertinent part of the book. It's Ira Godse, who is then moved from Mumbai to London and lives there, and she's a doctor with the NHS. And this is, it's near London Paddington Station, but so you'll never believe it's actually in London. It's so beautiful. It's called Little Venice. And so she often sits there and she's watching the ducks go by, and she's saying that the ducks are paddling all the time, but you feel nothing's happening, and that is Ira's life all along. So, Little Venice, iconic, turning point of the book. This is 2015, when Modi ji came to England. This is Wembley Arena, 60,000 people attended. On top is David Cameron, the then Prime Minister, and his wife in a sari, the only two British people among 60,000 people. And we also went on a bus. Abhay didn't come because he doesn't believe in political things, but my daughter and I went on the bus from Milton Keynes, and the only British person was the driver, because there were enough Jai Hind happening, 50 people on the bus, all of that. So this is very important for the book, because still then our protagonist, Samir Godse, is a standard London boy. All of you have, so many of you have children overseas or children studying here. They're not interested in politics, even now. They're not interested so much in religion. You know, he's got a standard London job and he's in finance and everything is going fine. He's got a nice girlfriend. Incidentally, his girlfriend Kaya is Indonesian Indonesian origin. Her name is Kaya, and this Godse family, they say. And that's what it's in the book, in the glossary, in the Marathi, in the English glossary. It said, what is Aplyatli? Why is Aplyatli in the glossary? So all they have to say is this origin, Indonesian saying, Aplyatli vatat nahi hai. She is not one of us. That's what they're interested in, Godse family. So from this life, when Samir Godse and his family just go for a family outing to watch Mr. Modi speak, at that time, you know, when he's speaking, look at the body language and, you know, all of that. Massive, very, very impressive. They had everything done so well. And then the British anthem is played, and it's never sung, right? It is only played, you know, instrumental. And so nobody's singing. Maybe David must have sung something. Then 60,000 Indians stand up, and they're singing, and they're waving their phones. It's all very mesmerizing, romantic. And then Samir thinks to himself, this country of origin of mine must be something else. This is very powerful because nobody knows me in London. Nobody cares if I exist. So this is really something very big here. So at that point, this gets over, and then he meets somebody sitting next to him. And he says, this person gives him a card, a little flashy card. I won't tell you the color of the card, but it is flashy. And it says, he says to him, Mr. Samir Godse, you speak Marathi very well. You have a great future in Indian politics. So come over. That's the turning point of the book. Yes, we are going to, I'm going to end here. We are going to, of course, have Mrinal speak and release the book, and then we are going to read the excerpts. Thank you, and I'll wait for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Manjiri. So we'll first, Mrinal, before you start, I know you don't need much introduction here, but I have to do the formalities. So I will just quickly read it out. So Mrinal is a well-known actress and director celebrated for her work in both Marathi and Hindi film and television. She rose to fame with her role as Ramabai in classic Marathi series Swami, and became a household name in playing iconic characters like Mirabai, Jizabai, and in the hit show Sonpari. I'm sure people here remember all these. She made her directorial debut in Prem Manje Prem Asta and went on to direct acclaimed films like Rama Madhav and TNT. Over the years, she earned multiple awards for her acting. Mrinal remains a prominent figure in Indian cinema and television, both in front and behind the camera. Mrinal, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good evening to all of you. I was a little confused in which language should I speak, but there are very few English-speaking people, and we are talking about culture and Marathi culture, Marathi Sanskriti, Marathi Bhasha, so I think I should speak in Marathi, आपली मराठी. सर्वप्रथम आज आपण इथे ज्यासाठी जमलो आहेत ते आधी करूया. मंजिरीचं प्रकाशनाआधी आपण अभिनंदन करूया. Manjiri and Abhay, they have been my friends for years now. मंजिरीच्या या आधीच्या एका पुस्तकासाठी मला वाटतं मी लिहिलं होतं, माझ्या मुलांनी विराजसनी पण त्यात लिहिलं होतं. आणि मला मंजिरीचं एवढं कौतुक वाटतं की इतके वेगळे विषय निवडते ना ती, आणि विशेषतः हे पुस्तक इन द नेम ऑफ हे वाचताना मला इतका आनंद झाला, इतका अभिमान वाटला की नुसतं आम्हाला आमच्या देशाचा अभिमान आहे, आमच्या देशाचं कौतुक आहे, आमच्या माणसांबद्दल आम्हाला आस्था आहे असं म्हणून थांबणारे आपण सगळे आहोत खरं तर, बरोबर. आणि आता तर असं झालेलं आहे फेसबुक आणि इन्स्टाच्या जगामध्ये की मी आज पोहे बनवलेचा फोटो, मी आज निळी साडी नेसलेचा फोटो, मी बघा सूर्यास्त कसा बघितला त्याचा फोटो. मला थोडंसं प्रमोशन करते. काल आम्ही एक नवीन शो सुरू केला आहे, त्याचं नाव आहे कोहम. कोहम म्हणजे काय, तर प्रत्येकाला असा प्रश्न पडतो की हू एम आय, मी माझा जन्मच का झाला आहे आणि मी का जगात या अवतरलो आहे, म्हणजे त्यातलं बायोलॉजिकल गोष्ट सोडून द्या, पण मी जन्माला का आलो आहे आणि मी मरणार आहे तो काय करून मरणार आहे. अनेकांना हा प्रश्न खूप उशिरा सुचतो. हे कोडं खूप उशिरा त्यांच्या मनात येतं, त्याची उत्तरं शोधण्याचे प्रयत्नसुद्धा होत नाहीत आणि आपण तसंच आपलं आयुष्य संपून जातं. मला रॉय किणीकरांची एक रुबाई आठवते इथे. ते म्हणतात, या पाणवठ्यावर आले किती घट गेले, या पाणवठ्यावर आले किती घट गेले, किती डुबडुबले अन बुडले वाहून गेले, किती पडून राहिले तसेच घाटावरती, किती पडून राहिले तसेच घाटावरती, किती येतील अजूनी नाही त्यांना गणती. असेच आपल्यापैकी अनेक जण, मीही त्याला अपवाद नाही, आपण जन्माला येतो, आपलं आयुष्य जसं जमेल तसं घालवतो, अधिकाधिक सुखाच्या मागे धावण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो आणि ते आयुष्य संपून जातं. पण आपला जन्म कशासाठी झाला आहे, आपण या धर्तीवर का आहोत, आपली योजना कशासाठी झालेली आहे याचा विचारच आपण करत नाही. आणि हा विचार जेव्हा सुरू होतो तेव्हा आपण आपल्या रूट्सकडे जातो. तेव्हा जगाच्या पाठीवर आपण कुठेही असलो तरी आपण परत तिथे जायला बघतो जिथे आपली पाळंमुळं रुजलेली असतात. मला वाटतं कशा कशाच्या नावानी इन द नेम ऑफ या पुस्तकाची कुठेतरी सुरुवात याच्यामध्ये आहे की कोण आहे मी आणि कशासाठी माझा जन्म झाला आहे, कशासाठी मी इथे आहे आणि मी काय केलं पाहिजे आणि ते मी करतोय का, आणि करत नसेन तर ते मी लवकरात लवकर सुरू केलं पाहिजे. मी आधी पुस्तक इंग्रजीमध्ये वाचलं, मला असं अतिशय वाटलं होतं की हे मराठीत आलं पाहिजे आणि ताबडतोब तिने मला मराठी पण पाठवलं. मला खूप आनंद झाला, कारण आपल्या सुदैवाने अजून मराठी भाषा आणि मराठी वाङ्मय ही आपल्या हृदयाच्या जवळची गोष्ट आहे. मराठीमध्ये उत्तम वाचक आहेत, जगभर वाचतात, पण मंजिरीने लिहिलेलं हे पुस्तक केवळ मराठी माणसांसाठी मर्यादित नाही. आपण वर्तमानपत्रांमध्ये, चॅनल्सवर रोज ज्या बातम्या बघतो, मला वाटतं जर मी चुकत नसेन तर कालच ऑस्ट्रेलियामधनं बातमी आलेली आहे की आमच्या नोकऱ्या बाहेरच्या लोकांना मिळू नयेत यासाठी मोर्चे काढलेले आहेत त्यांनी, आणि ते इंडियन लोकांच्या विरुद्ध आहेत. त्यामुळे काही वर्षांपूर्वी जी स्वप्न वाटत होती ती आता दुःस्वप्न ठरतील का काय असं आपल्या सगळ्यांना वाटतं आहे, हे जाणवतं आहे. आपण निश्वास टाकतो की आमचं संपलं बाबा आयुष्य, आमचं ठीक आहे, आता मुलांचं नीट गेलं की झालं. पण हे इतकं सोपं नाही आहे आणि हे इतकं सोपं राहिलेलं नाही, राहणार नाही आहे. हे उत्तरोत्तर वाढत जाणार आहे. हा प्रश्न फक्त भारतीयांचा आहे का, आपला आहे का, तर नाही, जगभरातल्या प्रत्येक माणसाचा हा आता प्रश्न आहे आणि तो अधिकाधिक उग्र होत जाणार आहे. अशा वेळेला अशा पुस्तकाचं येणं हे खूप महत्त्वाचं आहे. भारतीय लोकांना गोष्ट ऐकायला फार आवडते आणि कोणतीही कहाणी रूपामध्ये काहीही सांगितलं की त्यांना ते जास्त भिडतं आणि त्याच्या पुढची स्टेज म्हणजे चित्रपट. त्यामुळे आधी हे पुस्तक आणि त्यावर लवकरच चित्रपट येईल अशी मला आशा वाटते. जी माणसं इथून विचार करतात त्या प्रत्येक माणसाला असं वाटेल की हे पुस्तक जास्तीत जास्त लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचलं पाहिजे. काही वर्षांपूर्वी मी एका चित्रपटात काम केलं, त्याचं नाव द काश्मीर फाईल्स, आणि तो चित्रपट करत असताना ते स्क्रिप्ट जेव्हा माझ्या हातात आलं तेव्हा माझे असेच डोळे खाडकन उघडले होते आणि मी म्हटलं 1990 म्हणजे मी काही फार लहान नव्हते आणि मला हे माहीतच नव्हतं. म्हणजे इतकी मी आत्ममग्न होते की हे आपल्या देशात घडलं आहे याची मला भनक पण नाही. आणि मी आजूबाजूच्या लोकांना विचारलं जेव्हा सिनेमा व्हायचा होता अजून आणि स्क्रिप्टच आलं होतं माझ्याकडे की 1990मध्ये काहीतरी भारतात भयंकर झालं होतं का, नोबडी न्यू. आणि मग तो सिनेमा जेव्हा केला, तो लोकांपर्यंत पोचला, तेव्हा तो फार पॉप्युलर झाला आणि खूप चालला आणि लोकांना असंच वाटलं ते बघताना अंगावर शहारे आले वगैरे वगैरे. पण अशा अनेक गोष्टी आहेत ज्या दडपल्या जातात, अनेक गोष्टी आहेत ज्या आपल्यापर्यंत नीट पद्धतीने पोचत नाहीत, अनेक गोष्टी आहेत ज्या आपल्यापर्यंत पोहोचतात पण आपल्या रिमोटवर आपण दुसरंच काहीतरी बघण्यात मग्न असतो आणि कालौघामध्ये ते तसंच वाहून जातं. काही वेळा असंही होतं की फार छान माझे बाबा असं म्हणायचे की काही माणसं अशी असतात की अंगाला तेलच लावून आलेली असतात, म्हणजे त्यांच्या अंगाला काही लागतच नाही, काही झालं तरी काही प्रॉब्लेमच नाही. आपण हळूहळू तसे होतो आहे का काय याचं प्रत्येकाने एकदा स्वतःला प्रश्न विचारले पाहिजेत आणि त्याची पडताळणी केली पाहिजे. पुस्तकावर इतकं सुंदर बोलली आहे ती ऑलरेडी. थोडं तिने सांगून टाकलं आहे. का बरं सांगून टाकलं आहे, सगळ्यांना वाचू देत, त्यांना सगळ्यांना खूप आवडणार आहे हे पुस्तक, आवडणार आहे, विचार करायला लावणार आहे. आणि माझी खात्री आहे इंग्रजी आणि मराठी अदितीने भाषांतर पण खूप छान केलेलं आहे. मला स्पेशल मेन्शन करावं असं वाटतो. मी दोन्ही भाषांमध्ये पुस्तक वाचलं आहे. इतकं फ्लुएंट लेखन आहे या माझ्या मैत्रिणीचं. आणि इतकी वर्सटाईल आहे ती, आपल्यापैकी प्रत्येक जण तिला मला वाटतं जवळून ओळखतो. त्यामुळे आपल्याला तर माहीतच आहे की ती काय काय करू शकते. त्यातलं बरंच तिने केलं आहे, पण तिच्यामध्ये बरंच करायचं राहिलं असेल याची मला खात्री आहे. ते सगळं करायला तिला आपण सगळेजणं ऊर्जा देऊयात, प्रेम देऊयात. या पुस्तकाला माझ्या खूप खूप शुभेच्छा. तुम्ही ते वाचा आणि ज्यांच्या आयुष्यामध्ये बदल घडणं आवश्यक आहे अशा आपल्या पुढच्या पिढीच्या हातामध्ये हे पुस्तक पोहोचवणं ही आपली जबाबदारी आहे. ती जबाबदारी तरी आपण नक्की पार पाडूया. मंजिरी, हार्टी कंग्रॅच्युलेशन्स टू यू. आणि टू अभय ॲज वेल, जो तिला हे सगळं करू देतो आणि अतिशय कौतुकाने तिची साथ निभावतो.
थँक्यू.
थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
ती मला छान जेवणही करून देते म्हणून मग अपार्ट फ्रॉम जोक्स, फॅन्टॅस्टिक पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह म्हणाल. म्हणजे एकदम वेगळ्या पद्धतीने इन द नेम ऑफ जे जे होतं आणि तू दिलेला एक दुसरा अँगल तो पण विचार करण्यासारखा आहे. सो थँक्यू फॉर दॅट. सो आता आपण पुस्तक रिलीज हे करूया. आदिती, इफ यू डोंट माइंड. बाबा, विनीता, आद्यश्री, पारुल, कॅन यू प्लीज.
Quick thing while this is happening, इथे ज्योती दिसते सगळ्यांना, ज्योती मोरे. आणि ॲज आय सेड इन द बिगिनिंग, माय मराठी इज नॉट दॅट गुड. इट्स व्हेरी गुड रिटन, म्हणजे स्पोकन मराठी इज व्हेरी गुड. माय रिटन मराठी अँड रायटिंग इज नाव नॉट दॅट गुड. So it was going to take me a very long time to read the Marathi book, and I was not happy that I'm signing off something which I have not fully read. So first thing, Aditi has done a brilliant job of the translation. After that, we have had Abhay's sister, Purnima Sathe, who is right now in Germany, but otherwise she lives in Thane. She has done a superlative job of reviewing it. Because she went to, unlike me, St. Helena School, she went to Maharashtra Mandal School like Abhay. So her English and Marathi is equally good. So she has actually reviewed the book, spent a lot of time, energy, everything on it. And where is Jyoti? So what we found, technology, we actually got Jyoti to record and read all of the chapters. They were sent to me. I recorded whatever I had to record. Aditi did the corrections, Purnimata did the reviewing, but now we are satisfied that nothing is wrong. So this is very, very important. So thank you, Jyoti, as well.
सो या इन द नेम ऑफच्या बरोबर म्हणजे इंग्लिश आणि मराठी ट्रान्सलेशन मंजिरीची पहिली 5 पुस्तकं पण आपण बाहेर विकायला ठेवलेली आहेत आणि त्यातनं येणारे सगळे पैसे हे माया केअर फाउंडेशन आमचं जे फाउंडेशन आहे त्याला ते जाणार आहेत पैसे. सो नॉट ओन्ली दीज 2 बुक्स पण आधीची पण पुस्तकं तुम्ही प्लीज घ्या आणि डेफिनेटली आवडतील. प्रत्येक पुस्तक वेगळ्या विषयावर आहे. सो आय एम शुअर इट विल बी एन्जॉयबल फॉर यू. आणि फक्त स्वतःसाठी घेऊ नका. कोणाला गिफ्ट करायचं असेल, आता दिवाळी येतेच आहे, तर कुठली तरी वस्तू देण्यापेक्षा पुस्तक दिलं तर इट विल बी अ ग्रेट थिंग. लहान मुलांना म्हणजे मृणालनी मगाशी जे रेफर केलं, विराजसनी पण त्यामध्ये लिहिलं होतं, आमच्या मुलींनी पण लिहिलं होतं, तर ते पुस्तक एक टीनेजर त्या एज ग्रुपसाठी सुटेबल आहे. सो यू कॅन पिकअप दोज बुक्स इफ यू वॉन्ट टू सॉर्ट ऑफ गिफ्ट देम टू एनीवन. दिवाळी आलीच आहे ॲज आय सेड आणि आपल्याकडे सण असतात. सो प्लीज दॅट जस्ट अ रिक्वेस्ट. नाव आय वूड लाईक टू रिक्वेस्ट the ladies to come over to the stage for the reading. Vinita followed by Parul and Adesha. Vinita, you are the first one. I think she will replace you and then you can.
Okay. Okay. I welcome Parul Vaidya. Parul, and I'll do a quick introduction. Parul is a dynamic and results-driven leader with extensive experience in the philanthropy sector. As CEO of SVP India Pune, she brings a strong background in general management combined with proven expertise in communication, marketing strategy, and customer relationship management. Known for her ability to lead high-performing teams, Parul has consistently fostered collaboration, innovation, and sustainable growth within the organization she serves. Her leadership style is rooted in building meaningful relationships, driving impactful initiatives, and creating value for both stakeholders and the communities at large. I invite Parul to read from the book. Thank you, Parul.
Thank you. Well, I didn't know this introduction. I'm sure Manjiri did this. Okay, so you've heard a lot about the books, so here are some excerpts. Vinita and myself will read out some paragraphs from the book. For the first time, since they could both remember, Omar and Ira had not met or spoken for over 2 months. Far from welcome in the Dixit household anymore, Omar had finally managed to reach Ira on her home phone with the help of his cousin Nikhat and set up this rendezvous. On previous movie dates, the two would board the train together at Dadar West. Ira would refuse to sit by herself in the ladies' first class compartment, unperturbed by the men staring resentfully. The two of them caught the fresh air at the entrance, their feet planted firmly apart for balance, chatting away, a palm clutching the overhead handlebars with practiced ease. As the men stared, Omar would shake his head disapprovingly and attempt to block their view of Ira with his slight flame. Omar, nobody is ogling. They are unhappy I have taken up a seat a man could have used. Which I haven't. We are standing. Ira would jest, tossing her hair in her characteristic manner, holding back the urge to caress her dark tresses. Omar would instead dug into his pocket to produce the result of hours in the booking queue. If the tickets were not booked in advance, especially for the blockbuster films, Ira would have had to hover around while Omar haggled with the willy black marketeers, deftly making their way outside the cinema. Their shifty eyes expertly shifting the advance booking moviegoers from those desperate to not disappoint their girlfriends. Irrespective of when the tickets were procured, Omar and Ira were always in their seats in time for the trailers. I'm sure a lot of us have done that. To giggle at the government-sponsored birth control ads, whose chosen mode of depicting a sexual encounter was showing a couple boating in the Mahabaleshwar Lake. I'm sure many of us remember that Mahabaleshwar Lake ad. They anticipated the roaring yawn of the 20th century fox lion and the echoing crunch of a giant, juicy, red Shimla apple eaten on a 70 screen only to advertise the supernatural strengthening power of the toothpaste panel. After the 3-hour saga ending with police sirens wailing after the hero had single-handedly vanquished a band of villains with his bare hands, even as his pretty maiden viewed the proceedings nervously twisting the edge of a flowing scarf or sari, Omar and Ira would remain seated. They only rose to step out of the cinema after the names of the unsung technical team had rolled away, for obvious reasons.
But today, 20 minutes earlier, unconcerned with the screen ending which went something like, and this was just the beginning, as the couple held hands and floated away into the horizon, Omar slipped out of the cinema. The pungent fragrance of these precious stolen moments still nuzzling her pert nose, Ira had slipped away 10 minutes earlier, armed with a polythene bag containing the black burqa Omar had borrowed from Nikhat and the promise to meet at their secret spot behind the Valentine's Day 1993 Red Theme Party venue. Their passionate encounters could have continued thanks to the anonymity offered by this garment. But 2 months later, in April of 1993, Ira was on her first international flight. Her blue faded jeans and wine-colored cardigan, a contrast to the conventional black beads around her neck. Her dulled mind, a union of unease and despondence, Ira's muddle of thought was taken over by dizziness and a wave of nausea. As the aircraft taxied on Terminal 3, 100 voices in unison were drumming in her ears. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist, secular democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. Mrs. Albuquerque, half Portuguese, half Goan, teaching civics at their school, was convinced that the Indian Constitution and its preamble should be read aloud at the school assembly along with the Bible. She had marched into the school principal's office and impressed the importance of national pride upon the nun. Apart from the memorizing chemistry formulae, poems on the English countryside, and World War dates for the exams, Omar, Ira, and the schoolhouse captains were promptly given an additional task of learning the Constitution's preamble by rote and saying it aloud during assembly so that the entire school could repeat after them. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Masking a yawn with her fingers covered in fading henna design, she looked outside the window, her first ever glimpse of the grey London horizon, something she had only read about in her favorite Enid Blyton and Agatha Christie books. The English countryside should have beckoned her, cheered her. Still sleepy, Ira opened her bag to retrieve her boarding pass and passport. A yellowed post-it note dropped into the ale. It was Omar's scribbling of the preamble on one side and his first ever expression of love for Ira on the other. Stamped upon by co-passengers in a rush to get off the tiring flight, Ira left the liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship behind on the aircraft and stepped out into the cold London air to put her best foot forward for a new life. In their picture-perfect dream family, teenage Omar and Ira were to have a son named Aman and a daughter named Ishani, both carefully selected names that would be acceptable to both Hindu and Muslim sensibilities. Wandering around South Mumbai during her summer holidays, Ira and Omar had enjoyed yet another film, Amar Akbar Anthony, over the turmeric popcorn at Regal Cinema in Colaba. It was a 1977 film, re-released on its 15th anniversary. In splits over how ridiculous this one had been, they had ended up at the Mondegar Cafe around the corner. Over tall glasses and cold coffee, they laughed at the convoluted coincidences in the plot. The three brothers, separated, then adopted by three blessed individuals who were the very embodiment of the stereotypes defined by each faith, the loud costumes, and the foot-tapping songs. The conversation had progressed to what Omar and Ira would call their children after they would marry one day. If we have two sons, let's call them Amar and Akbar. Amar to keep the Dikshits happy, and Akbar to appease the Siddiquis. Omar had guffawed. Also, Akbar is a stereotypical Qawwali guy in bright, shiny green shirts, and his girlfriend is a doctor. So if you still end up being a doctor of some sort, I can be the stereotypical Qawwali guy. Omar thumped the table. After much barter, they had agreed on the two agnostic names, tucked away safely in a dream compartment that had remained shut forever.
Gangadhar stepped into the balcony accompanied by Sadhvi's trusted lieutenants in saffron shirts and sunglasses, bearing a cardboard box of syrupy orange motichur laddus and a garland of marigold flowers. Chalo Samir bhai, let's leave. And before that happy birthday, Bablu placed the garland around Samir's neck. Dalip stuffed a motichur laddu in his mouth. Both gave him a bear hug. Munshi, subservient as ever and in turn eternally hopeful that Samir would be instrumental in getting him a job in London, rushed to pick up his laptop bag. Samir hastily stuffed the envelope and its contents into his laptop bag, and the party headed towards the car. It was an hour before Samir was able to meet Sadhvi. The car snaked through the traffic, blocked by supporters sporting saffron ribbons, armbands, turbans, and flags. A couple were selling cow-branded paraphernalia through car windows, several dancing to raunchy music blaring from the loudspeaker equipment carrying truck that trailed the chariot. The chariot was a modified open motor vehicle with wooden cutouts of white horses stuck on. Sadhvi's imposing frame was on the throne, fastened in the center of the vehicle, flanked by lieutenants who took turns to clamber up onto the truck and garland her. Sadhvi waved to people who lined up on the streets to watch and periodically threw the garlands around her neck at bystanders. Dalip and Bablu hoisted Samir up to the throne. Sadhvi bared her teeth in a broad grin. Her lieutenant helpfully held up a small plate with kunku. Sadhvi thrust her plump right thumb into the bright red powder and anointed Samir her thumb between his eyes and straight up his forehead. Two lieutenants were holding onto the bust of Nathuram Godse, covered in a white muslin ready to be installed. A gust of wind blew away the muslin. Sadhvi clapped and yelped. Koi hai? Anybody there? A spare saffron cloth was produced as cover. In the interim, Samir had noticed the statue commissioned at the local sculptor. He turned to Sadhvi. Didi, I have looked up pictures and documents of Nathuram from my research. He was slightly built, with a thin, solemn face, close-cropped hair, always dressed in a simple Western-style shirt. He never wore a turban, a shawl around his neck, or anything like that. This sculpture shows a laughingly chubby man with a turban, shawl, and Rudraksha beads around his neck. This is not like his likeliness at all. Samir's genuine query had Sadhvi livid. Her face blanched, her expansive chest heaved in rage. Maintaining her beatific grin for her target audience outside the truck. Her jacket black eyes bored into Sameer's green ones. Babua, I granted you the privilege to call me Didi. Since I renounced the world and donned saffron, I have given up all relationships. You can even give up marital relationships, but brother-sister bonds are forever. You must listen to everything your elder sister has to tell you, for Didi knows better. After 15 years in politics, I am waiting for my day in the sun. Fine, you gave some money to the party fund. It is dakshina, donation, and for you NRIs lose change anyway. You made trips to India, you quit your job and finally came here to serve the country. But compared to our sacrifice, this is nothing. Nathuram must look like what the people who will vote for us want to see. In this region, we like well-fed leaders with a robust countenance. After all, he liked Gandhi. He killed Gandhi. I'm so sorry. After all, he killed Gandhi. He should look like that. If he didn't wear all this, true Hindus good for your political future. Not waiting for Sameer's response. Sadhvi threw a few garlands at the crowd. The chariot had reached the venue. Sadhvi ascended the stage amidst the blowing of a conch shell.
March 2018. She continued to text Sameer every 2 days. There never was a response. News about him filtered through a kaya. He did occasionally respond to her messages. Ira's father kept a close eye on the dubious channels. She had 2 new sources of joy who had taken just 45 minutes to warm up to her, not questioning how she suddenly appeared. Generation-wise, she was in Nan's league. Age-wise, just a few years older than Mummy. She can't be Mummy's sister, for her hair is woolly black, her skin dark. Ira's hair is dark brown and straight. Her skin is fair, but not as fair as Daddy's family. Leon's hair and mine is blonde and fuzzy. Our skin is olive, our eyes are pale brown. Such were Ila's astute observations. But to her or to Leon, none of this mattered. To them, she was Ira, who stood outside that daycare center when Mummy and Daddy were working, whose stories had them in such rapt attention that the vegetables vanished without a murmur. Thank you, that's over.
Thank you, Vinita.
I would just like to add a bit about Manjiri, who I know since 3 decades, and say that she writes books as if she's giving fodni tadka to a vegetable. But in this case, she's gone and put herself in the fire. The subject is absolutely hot and torrid, and I wish her all the best. This story has to be told, and let's hope for a better and beautiful world. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita. Let me very quickly just share a little bit about Vinita, and then I'll introduce Radheshri. No, I'll just say one sentence. As you might have guessed, Vinita is an award-winning journalist with over 26 years of experience. She really knows what the tadka is, and she has shared with us her thoughts. Thank you, Vinita. Adishri is our next speaker. She's a versatile artist and practitioner with a diverse background in dance, theatre, and arts-based therapy. A trained actor and classical dancer, she holds master's degree in Indology from Tirak Maharashtra Vidyapith Pune and master's in Buddhist studies from Tibet House CSE. Her acclaimed performance in the Marathi film Bangarwadi earned her the prestigious Screen Videocon Award and the Ashirwad Award for Best Actress. With deep interest spanning ancient Indian history, theatre, special education, and healing through art, Adishri continues to weave creativity and compassion into her work. Over to you, Adishri.
Thank you.
रांगोळी काढायच्या निमित्ताने इराला जरा ताजी हवा खायला मिळत होती. तिने पांढऱ्या रांगोळीनी कमळ काढलं. त्याच्या पाकळ्यांमध्ये गडद पिवळा रंग भरला आणि त्याची पानं छानशा हिरव्या रंगात रंगवली. हवेमध्ये गारठा जाणवू लागला होता. इरा उत्साहाने घरात गेली आणि तिने सगळ्यांना तिची रांगोळी बघायला बाहेर बोलावलं. आता ती तिच्या सासू सासऱ्यांना आई बाबा अशी हाक मारू लागली होती. आई, बाबा, श्रीराम, या ना माझी रांगोळी बघायला. आपण ही रांगोळी अशीच भाऊबीजेपर्यंत ठेवूया, म्हणजे स्वातीताईंना पण माझी रांगोळी बघता येईल. हे बोलत असतानाच आपल्या हातून काहीतरी भयंकर अपराध घडलाय याची जाणीव इराला झाली. रत्नप्रभांनी पाण्याचा जग हातात घेतला आणि तरातरा बाहेर जाऊन तिच्या सुरेख रांगोळीवर पाणी ओतलं आणि जोरजोरात ओरडू लागल्या, हे इंग्लंड आहे आणि तू अंगणात स्वस्तिक काढलास. आधीच आजूबाजूचे लोक असं म्हणतात की या आशियाई लोकांना इतकं महागडं घर कसं परवडतं. आता तर ते नक्कीच आपल्याला नाझी समजतील. इराला त्यांचं हे बोलणं समजायला जरासा वेळ लागला. हिंदूंचं शुभचिन्ह असलेलं स्वस्तिक उलटं काढल्यास ते हिटलरच्या नाझी पक्षाचं चिन्ह दिसतं. इराणी खूप वर्षांपूर्वी शाळेच्या पुस्तकात हे नाझींचं उलट स्वस्तिक असणारं चिन्ह पाहिलं होतं. पण हिंदूंच्या स्वस्तिकाचा आणि नाझी चिन्हाचा संबंध तिने आजवर जोडला नव्हता. असू दे रत्ना, भारतात स्वस्तिक सगळीकडे काढतात. तुझ्या पोथ्यांमध्येही स्वस्तिक आहे ना. हे बघ, हा इथे एवढा संवेदनशील विषय असेल याची इराला कल्पना आली नसेल अगं. प्रभाकरनी समजुतीच्या स्वरात म्हटलं. अस्वस्थपणे इरा तिच्या मोरपंखी साडीच्या काठाशी चाळा करत होती. सॉरी, ती पुटपुटली. सगळी रांगोळी पुसून टाकल्यावर रत्नप्रभा रागारागाने घरात आल्या आणि धुमसून म्हणाल्या, आणि स्वाती कधीही भेटायला येत नाही, भाऊबीजेला नाही आणि रक्षाबंधनाला पण नाही, कधीच नाही. तिला आणि तिच्या काळ्या बेंद्रा बाळाला मी इथे कधीच येऊ देणार नाही. स्वातीचं नाव निघताच श्रीरामचा चेहरा काळवंडला. एकही शब्द न बोलता तो त्याच्या खोलीत गेला आणि त्यांनी आतून कडी लावून घेतली.
थँक्यू आदश्री.
बिफोर वी गो फॉर Q&A, आपण एक वोट ऑफ थँक्स, मला एक फॉर्मॅलिटी कंप्लीट करायची आहे. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द ऑडियन्स, थँक्यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग हिअर ऑन अवर इन्व्हिटेशन. पाऊस असतानाही एवढी लोकं आली. आम्ही म्हणजे घरातून निघाल्या पाऊस चालू झाल्यावर मला लगेच चिंता पडली होती की आता किती लोकं येतात. पण थँक्यू युअर कमिटमेंट टू वॉट यू हॅड सेड अँड वॉट यू हॅव डन. वी अप्रिशिएट दॅट. खरंच चांगलं वाटलं एवढे लोकं आले ते. ऑफकोर्स मृणाल कुड नॉट स्टे फॉर लॉंग. तिला मुंबईला लगेच जायचं आहे, त्यामुळे ती थांबू शकली नाही. दॅट वॉज वन थिंग. दुसरं अतिशय महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे मगाशी आपण ज्योतीचा विषय काढला. ज्योती इज पार्ट ऑफ आवर माया केअर बिंदू टीम. तर हा जो प्रोग्राम ऑर्गनाईज केलेला आहे त्याच्यामागे मी आणि मंजिरींनी जास्ती कष्ट घेतले नाहीत प्रोग्राम ऑर्गनाईज करायला, परंतु आमची बिंदू टीम जी आहे, जी आम्ही त्यांना बिंदू टीम म्हणतो, त्या टीममधल्या 5 लोकांनी अतोनात कष्ट करून हा सगळा प्रोग्राम ऑर्गनाईज केला आहे. तुम्हाला त्यांच्याकडनं मेसेजेस पण आले असतील इन्व्हिटेशनचे, नंतर रिमाइंडर्सचे वगैरे. तर राईट फ्रॉम कोऑर्डिनेशन विथ द व्हेन्यू मॅनेजमेंट टीम टू द पॉईंट वेअर सगळं टेस्टिंग होतं आहे ना, सगळे मायक्रोफोन चालणार आहेत ना, कोणाला प्रत्येकाला रोल द्यायचा, त्यांच्याबरोबर कॉल्स घ्यायचे, हे सगळं या टीमनी केलं आहे. सो माया केअर बिंदू टीम, थँक्यू व्हेरी मच. इथे फक्त ज्योतीच येऊ शकली आहे, पण बाकीचे जे कोणी आहे ते फरा वॉज लीडिंग द प्रोजेक्ट. फरा आमच्या टीममध्ये आहे, बिंदू टीममध्ये. ती पुण्यामध्ये राहते पण अनफॉर्च्युनेटली येऊ शकली नाही. तिने हा प्रोजेक्ट ह्या इव्हेंटचा लीड केला होता. तर सो आय विल विश हर सेपरेटली. तर आणि त्याच्या अजून त्यांच्याबरोबर जया म्हणून एक जण आहे, तो होता, शिखा होती, असे बरेच बिंदूचे लोक ह्या बिहाइंड द टीम काम करत होते. सो थँक्यू टू दॅम. अँड फायनली थँक्यू टू द मॅनेजमेंट ऑफ पर्सिस्टंट फाउंडेशन, ज्यांनी हा व्हेन्यू, इतका उत्कृष्ट व्हेन्यू आम्हाला ह्या प्रोग्रामसाठी उपलब्ध करून दिला. बिकॉज एव्हरीथिंग इज जस्ट राईट इन प्लेस. आम्हाला फार कष्ट घ्यावे लागले सेटअप करायला. अदरवाईज इन सम प्लेसेस वी रिअली हॅव टू वर्क व्हेरी हार्ड टू गेट इट इन अ सिच्युएशन वेअर तो एक मूड क्रिएट करायला लागतो. इथे तो मूड ऑलरेडी होता. आणि थँक्यू टू द ऑडिओ व्हिज्युअल टीम मागे बसले ते. कुठेही कुठलाही टेक्निकल फॉल्ट न येता हा प्रोग्राम आता मी असं म्हणतो आत्तापर्यंत व्यवस्थित घडलेला आहे. कारण अजून Q&A सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये जास्ती मजा येणार आहे. सो हॅव्हिंग सेड दॅट आता आपण Q&Aकडे वळतो आहे. मंजिरी, वुड यू लाईक टू? आय एम सॉरी, आय मिस्ड वन थिंग. इथे तुम्हाला काही लोक रिसेप्शनवर दिसली असतील किंवा अगदी गेटपाशी दिसली असतील. तर विकफिल्ड फाउंडेशन ची जे स्टुडंट्स आहेत त्यांच्याबरोबर आम्ही काम करतो. आणि हे स्टुडंट्स एक वर्क एक्सपिरियन्स मिळावा म्हणून आमच्याबरोबर वेगवेगळ्या प्रोजेक्ट्समध्ये काम करत असतात. तर आज त्यापैकी काही स्टुडंट्स तिकडे उभे आहेत. आता Q&Aच्या वेळेला ते मायक्रोफोन घेऊन तुम्हाला तिकडे दोघंजणं दिसतातच आहेत. आणि इकडे कुठेतरी असतील आता बसलेले. तर ते लोक आमच्या टीमबरोबर हे सगळं रन करायला आम्हाला मदत करत आहे. सो बिग थँक्यू टू विकफिल्ड स्टुडंट्स. त्यांनी आम्हाला बरीच मॅन पॉवर प्रोव्हाइड केली आणि इट हेल्प्ड अस. नाही तर मला आणि मंजिरीला पळापळ करावी लागते. आणि ऑफकोर्स मदन गौरी हे आमचे फॅमिली मेंबर्स आहेत. कुठे दिसत नाहीत मला आत्ता. नंतर सुधीर भालेराव माझा शाळेतला मित्र, त्याची मिसेस इथे कुठेतरी सगळे आहेत. येस, यांनी स्वतःहून टाईम देऊन आम्हाला लागेल ती मदत या प्रोग्राम ऑर्गनाईज करण्यासाठी दिली. सो बिग थँक्यू टू एव्हरीबडी. थँक्यू. सो आम्ही काय केलं होतं, आम्ही रिक्वेस्ट केली होती की कोणाला काही प्रश्न असतील इन ॲडव्हान्स, कारण काही लोकांनी पुस्तक आधी वाचलेलं आहे, तर ते प्रश्न तुम्ही लिहून रिसेप्शनला तुम्ही जेव्हा रजिस्टर केलं यू हँड इट ओव्हर, म्हणजे वी वुड हॅव स्टार्टेड विथ दॅट. आय एम नॉट शुअर इफ वी हॅव रिसिव्ड एनी रिटन क्वेश्चन्स, राईट?
It's okay. We can start, and you can ask the question in English, Marathi, Hindi, whatever you prefer. By the way, is there anyone left who doesn't understand Marathi? I think some people were here and they've left, so I can answer in Marathi. Yes. And now, okay, Madhav and then. एक मिनिट, माईक येत आहे. त्यांना देऊन ठेव संस्कृती माईक.
मी सुधा कानेटकर, मंजूच्या आईची सख्खी मैत्रीण. आणि मला फक्त एवढंच सांगायचं की कार्यक्रम अतिशय देखणा आणि अतिशय सुंदर झाला. मला आत्ता प्रश्नोत्तरांच्या म्हणजे कार्यक्रमापर्यंत थांबता येणार नाही आहे, तर मी गेले तर चालेल.
थँक्यू.
पण अशीच प्रगती होत राहा, अशीच अनेक पुस्तकं लिहित राहा.
हां,
मराठी आणि इंग्लिशमध्ये मिश्रित बोललं तर चालेल ना?
हो, तुम्ही इंग्लिश, मराठी, हिंदी जे काय तुम्हाला कम्फर्टेबल आहे प्लीज तुम्ही विचारा. आणि
माझं नाव अजित रानडे आणि मला तुम्ही इथे आमंत्रण केलं त्याबद्दल अतिशय आभार. आणि आय फील प्रिव्हिलेज्ड ॲक्च्युली टू बी अटेंडिंग टुडे. जसं तुम्ही म्हणालात, अभय म्हणाले की आज पाऊस पडत होता, शनिवार आहे वगैरे वगैरे, पण आय एम व्हेरी हॅपी अँड हार्टी कॉंग्रॅच्युलेशन्स टू यू अँड एव्हरीबडी एल्स अराउंड यू ऑफकोर्स. तर प्रश्न असा आहे की अगदी सोपा आहे आणि तो बऱ्याच लोकांनी विचारला असेल, सो आय होप यू हॅव अ रेडीमेड आन्सर. दोन आहेत ॲक्च्युली, त्याच्यात दोन भाग आहेत. एक म्हणजे हे पुस्तक का लिहिलं आणि कधी सुरू झालं आणि कधी संपला तो प्रोजेक्ट, म्हणजे इंग्लिशचा तरी. आणि मला असं नमूद करायचं आहे की ॲक्च्युली म्हणजे कादंबरी लिहिणं म्हणजे किंवा फिक्शन लिहिणं हे फार कठीण असतं. म्हणजे नॉन फिक्शन जरा सोपं असतं त्या तुलनेमध्ये. त्याच्यावरची पायरी म्हणजे कविता. तर काव्याच्या खालोखाल फिक्शनला आपल्याकडे जे म्हणतो आपण कादंबरीला खूप इतका मोठं काय म्हणजे हे आव्हान कसं काय पेललं आणि ते ऑफकोर्स यू हॅव बीन सक्सेसफुल. त्या दोन की का लिहिलं आणि किती वेळ लागला.
थँक्यू. That is Dr. Ajit Ranade, former Vice Chancellor of Gokhale Institute, and of course chief guest at the Maya Care event last year. So all the Maya Care volunteers will remember. आता चालेल ना? आता कोणी आहे का? Is there anybody who doesn't understand Marathi? Okay, yes. Few people are there. So I'll try with Hindi, English and Marathi, all three. Okay, so पहले जो उन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि क्यों लिखा, ये किताब क्यों लिखी, तो ये मेरी 6th बुक है, 6ठी किताब है. 2 फिक्शन है और 4 नॉन फिक्शन है. मुझे फिक्शन और नॉन फिक्शन दोनों ईजी है. अगर मुझे कुछ कहना है तो वो कह देती हूँ, अगर मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना है, ये ज़्यादातर इम्पॉर्टेंट नहीं है तो मैं कहती नहीं हूँ. तो then it's very easy. मुझे बहुत कहना है, ये कहने की इच्छा इतनी करो, ऐसे मत करो, वैसे मत करो, anyway nobody is going to listen. तो ये स्टोरी जो आई है वो अंदर से आई है और वो एक्चुअली मैजिक है. स्टोरी जब आती है फिक्शन, इट इज़ मैजिक, इट इज़ प्योर मैजिक. क्योंकि जब आप स्टार्ट करते हो लिखना तो पूरी स्टोरी होती नहीं है, फिर वो आती है. और इस स्टोरी लिखने का एक्चुअली दिस इज़ द फास्टेस्ट बुक आई हैव एवर रिटन. सो आई एम एक्चुअली गोइंग टू डू अ वर्कशॉप quite soon on book writing, because every day almost I get this question that I want to write a book and can you help? So I've written good books. I won't say good books and bad books, but I've written books in a good way, which is with a lot of discipline, but I've also written books in a very bad way, with a lot of indiscipline. So this one was one of the good ones. After being CEO of GTT, I was here for 3 years. I went back to UK और 5-6 दिन मैंने किसी से बात ही नहीं की. एक तो repatriation flight and except for Abhay and वहीं I was just not talking to anyone. I was very tired. I think you're here, Shreya is here, and Shreya is part of GTT. She said every morning we would come into the cabin, we would transfer a problem and you will solve that problem. This went on for 3 years, for 12 hours a day. After that, I was exhausted. And the next CEO of GTT, Mridula, she's also here after me. So she knows exactly what I'm talking about. After that level of exhaustion, after not talking to anyone, I said, let me write what I want to write. Let me write what I want to do. And we started making a timeline. So Abhay and I hope all of you one day, some people have visited, but we have made a timeline in our home. And we have made a timeline where it starts right from Jizabai's birth and Shakespeare's birth and Galileo's birth, and it ends in 2024. और हमने वो timeline शुरू की, first in just Excel, कि कब क्या हो रहा था. और उस टाइमलाइन में जो लिखता, whatever is happening around that, उसमें वो स्टोरी बसी है. क्योंकि स्टोरी 1974 में शुरू हो रही है जब ओमार एंड नीरा वर बॉर्न. लेकिन उसके पहले जो गोखले इंस्टीट्यूट, रानडे, एवरीथिंग वाज मच बिफोर दैट. 1910 में गोडसे's birth, and very, very fun and interesting facts came out from there. So this was one, to set it right. क्योंकि ये कहानी है, लेकिन कहानी का context is in real important events. What all the pictures we saw, those are real. That is not fiction. And it's a very magical feeling. As I said, वो मतलब सच में magic है, वो जादू है. One morning I woke up and I told him that I couldn't sleep till 2:30, and now the end of the book has come to me. I just have to write it now. And then in 3 months, from May to August, it was over. It was done. So thank you. But this is a luxury, I would say, rich writers have. I've never had this before, this luxury. So all my other books have been written on neither trains, on a commute, daily commute or flights or wherever else. And I think the best written book has been Bosses of the Wild, 1 year of discipline of 400 words a day, back and forth train from Milton Keynes to London and back. So that is the way actually to write a book. So I'll stop there. I think first question was why, and why this. I think I've answered both, right? Okay. I think the Madhav and then it will come. Yes, Madhav.
आपण जन्माला येताना मनुष्य म्हणून जन्माला येतो, परंतु आपल्यावर होणारे संस्कार प्रत्येक धर्मामधले वेगळे असतात. त्यामुळे कुठलीही गोष्ट करताना किंवा कुठलीही ॲक्शन घेताना आपल्या मनामध्ये एकाच वेळेला 2 प्रकारचे भाव असतात. ते म्हणजे स्वतःबद्दलचं किंवा आपण स्वतः जे फॉलो करतो त्याच्याबद्दलचं अत्यंतिक प्रेम, आणि त्याच वेळेला आपलं जे मानत नाही त्यांच्याबद्दलचा कदाचित अत्यंतिक द्वेष. या द्वेष आणि प्रेमाच्या लाईनवरचं हे तुमचं पुस्तक आहे. याच्यामध्ये जी नावं घेतली गेली आहेत, गोडसे, उमर, ही प्रातिनिधिक आहेत हे मलाही माहिती आहे, परंतु त्यात सुरुवातच गोडसे या नावापासून का?
उत्तम प्रश्न है, Madhav Zogrekar. The question in English is that he's asking why each of the names have significance, right? From starting from Godse, Omar. Yes, all of that is part of research. जब हम रिसर्च करते हैं तो ऐसे नहीं कि कोई जगह देख ली और सिर्फ थोड़ा सा टाइमलाइन बना लिया. रिसर्च इज़ वेरी डीप. और वो रिसर्च मतलब ये अमर अकबर एंथनी नहीं है ना, ये सच भी तो लगना चाहिए. जो लिख रहे हैं वो सच भी तो लगना चाहिए. सो एवरीथिंग हैज़ बीन रिसर्च. ओके, जिस जनरेशन में जो नाम पॉपुलर थे वो नाम लिए गए हैं. स्वाति गोडसे, स्वाति इज कॉल्ड स्वाति आपा इन ब्रैडफोर्ड वेयर स्वाति इज नाउ in northern London. Swati Appa, because she's surrounded by Pakistani families, of course no Hindu families, Pakistani families, Bangladeshi families, only Muslim families, and she's Swati Appa. Swati name is very important. Shri Ram is Shri Ram. So in the name of Shri Ram, तो काफी कुछ हो चुका है, तो Shri Ram was a very important name. And every time somebody does something in the name of Shri Ram, I say, please start behaving like Shri Ram. I would love that. If you behave like Sri Ram, I'm your biggest fan, but not in the name of Sri Ram. So Omar Siddiqui, Sakina B, all of those are very, very, very important. आणि गोडसे हे महत्त्वाचं का होतं? Why गोडसे is so important? Is that is the root. आज जो डेमीगॉड्स की कमी है, जो महापुरुषों की कमी है हमारे देश में, क्योंकि हमारा देश ऐसा है ना, हमें सिर्फ गॉड्स इनफ नहीं है ना. We have Ram, we have Krishna, we have everybody, but we still need more gods. हमारे देश में कोई तो चाहिए जिसकी पूजा होनी चाहिए. तो ये इसमें जो संघर्ष मेरा है ये डेमीगॉड्स के साथ, एंड इवन माय मदर यूज्ड टू से कि तुम्ही माणसाला माणसासारखं वागवा ना, तुम्ही त्याला देव का बनवताय? वाय यू क्रिएटिंग अ गॉड? दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. बट दैट इज वेयर द रूट ऑफ गोडसे केम फ्रॉम. क्योंकि आज जो हमारी कमी है, महाराष्ट्रन ब्राह्मण कम्युनिटी को डेमीगॉड चाहिए, कोई तो चाहिए. क्योंकि गांधी जो हमारे हैं सबके हैं, और येस्टरडे ऑल्सो आई सेड दिस इन मुंबई, आई सेड कि ये गांधी जो हमारे हैं, मैं भी तो भारतीय हूँ, मेरे गांधी क्यों नहीं है? कांग्रेस पार्टी की तो पर्सनल प्रॉपर्टी नहीं हो सकते ना गांधी, मेरे भी तो है. मोर ओवर द कांग्रेस पार्टी की जो स्थापना हुई थी उसमें तिलक वॉज वेरी मच देयर, रानडे वॉज वेरी मच देयर, फाउंडर ऑफ. हाउ कम नोबडी टेक्स देयर नेम्स? हाउ कम दे आर नॉट टॉक्ड अबाउट एज फाउंडर्स ऑफ कांग्रेस पार्टी? तो वो तो उनको तो उन्हें हमें नहीं टच करें, हमें तो वो महापुरुष अभी नहीं चाहिए फॉर वॉट एवर रीज़न. बात खत्म हो गई. इवन मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट, व्हेन तिलक वॉज इन प्रिजन, मैंडली प्रिजन से जब तिलक बाहर आए थे, एनी अवार्ड फॉर द ऑडियंस फॉर दिस आंसर, हु रिप्रेजेंटेड हिम इन द कोर्ट? जिन्हा. जिन्हा. सो टिल 1940 इफ द नेम पाकिस्तान डिडंट एग्जिस्ट, तो ये किसने बनाई बात? Very recently, one of our British friends, very lovely lady in her 85, she said, did we have anything to do with this? Yes. Because they are not, like we are not being taught, they are not being taught either what really happened. Right? So coming back to the name Godse, why Godse is important? वो एक demigod उन्होंने ले लिया. In the name of Shivaji, एक ही अच्छी चीज़ बनाई है, which I've mentioned in the book, Shivaji Airport. मुंबई में बहुत अच्छी चीज़ बनी है, कम से कम एक तो अच्छी चीज़ बनाई है in the name of. लेकिन शिवाजी, इवन आई एम महाराष्ट्रन, सो ऐसे नहीं कि मेरे क्यों नहीं है शिवाजी? आई एम ऑल्सो एडमायर ऑफ शिवाजी. वाई नॉट? पर्सनल प्रॉपर्टी और किसी की हो गई वो. सो नाउ वी नीड अ न्यू डेमीगॉड. सो वॉट वी आर कैपिटलाइजिंग ऑन, और वॉट द बुक इज बेसिंग ऑन, वाई गोडसे, इज बिकॉज इट्स now divided here or there. Like Vinita rightly said, Vinita, by the way, was my first boss in Indian Express. A lot of learnings come from her. It comes from here or there. I can't sit in the center of anything, because today, what are the two roots? If you're secular, if you believe in secularism, that means you're pro-Muslim, that means you're pro-Congress, that means you're anti-Modi, that means you're anti-BJP, anti-RSS, anti-Saffron, anti-Hinduism, and you're also an atheist. Anti-national also. So you're everything this side. And on the other side, you're opposite. So where are educated people like you and me going to sit? Where is the space? So you create this new demigod. And actually somebody very, very interesting question, Ajay Tehsildar, he asked me this question in UK. He said, have you seen this happen? I said, very interesting. जब ये book में जो saffronization होता है, ये जो बेटा है, Samir Godse in the book, right? Samir Godse is a standard London boy, got a job and university and girlfriend and everything. Suddenly, इसे क्या हो गया? परसों तक तो उसको गोडसे का मतलब ही पता नहीं था. He has no idea who Ambedkar is. He said, who's this guy Ambedkar? उसे कुछ भी पता नहीं है. He knows nothing. How come he goes to this extent? He goes to this extent because somebody believes a nice green-eyed English-speaking fair boy is very good politically, who also speaks Marathi quite well. And what is like Kasab was taken for what reason? For publicity, right? The poor boy had no money and nothing happening in his country. And there is nothing poor about Kasab anymore because what he did. So what they're trying to do is a boy with everything going for him, saying, come out of your, quiet, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है आपकी लाइफ में, देखो यहाँ पे क्या होने वाला है. Speech of a lifetime, you're going to do something. So that is the demigod. So the new demigod is Godse. And my attempt, my humble attempt, and that's what I've committed to Godse family, that they said, we asked them that, would you like to be part of the book events and all of that? They said, no, don't call us, don't do anything. But just correct these 3 things, and which we have corrected in the book. 3 things in the book, which we have done. Just not correct, it's just suggested, show that respect. So I'm hoping that Godse's philosophy has come out in this book because he's the most misunderstood person. For a very long time, he did not believe in the caste system. In 1940, he used to have multi-faith, multi-caste lunches and dinners in Pune. He did not believe in the caste. He was a journalist. He dropped out of Western education because Gandhi said, for freedom, drop out. Ban Western education, so he dropped out. He admired Gandhi. Gandhi उनके mentor थे, उनके मतलब द्रोणाचार्य जैसे उनके गुरु थे. तो जब हमारे गुरु ने कुछ किया है जिससे आपका देश ही अलग हो गया, right? So again, I'm not endorsing who's, but Godse has a lot. There is much more to it than here. और सबसे ज़्यादा पेन माधव आज ऐसा है कि Godse was vegetarian, Gandhi was vegetarian. I am also vegetarian by choice, but I have nothing. Why should people around me not eat what they want? I don't want to eat it, but why can't they eat what they want? How can we as a nation kill another human being in the name of Gandhi, in the name of Godse, in the name of a cow, and kill another human being? That is the biggest pain, and that is why I wanted to bring out Godse in the right way, if anything, and all of them. So she's like everyone saying, oh, it's a tumultuous book. It's a ज्वलंत विषय आहे. ज्वलंत विषय आहे, ठीक है, ज्वलंत विषय आहे. But if you read the whole book, and a lot of people here, I think he has read, a lot of people here have read the whole book. You see, I am not against any religion. I am definitely a practicing Hindu with great Muslim friends and a fantastic education in a Christian institution and such love for Jewish culture that Abhay and me have been mistaken for being Jewish in 4 countries by now. Because we just want to go and visit the synagogues for the research or we just like to visit them. But I am a practicing Hindu. You know, when things happen, my daughter sends me a message, Ganpati, my friends say my Ganpati is doing overtime for me. So it is between my Ganpati and me. Where does the world come into the picture? So I'm going to end with one thing. Vinita has an excellent friend called Shehnaz, who I met. I said, so I met Shehnaz's friend at Vinita's Gauri Haldi Kunku. That is my life and that is their life. That is the life we want. So Shehnaz said, and she said, I'm so sorry I can't be there for the book launch and it's going to be, I have read the book end to end. She said, I've read. And she said, it's a story where so much happened in my life and I was not allowed to marry the person I wanted to, everything I did. She said, but that was between my family and me. It was not between the community and the world and the whole country and me. It's their choice. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Yes. 1 minute. You have 1 minute. Okay.
तुमचं नाव पहिल्यांदा सांगा आणि मग प्रश्न विचारा. जस्ट 1 मिनिट. आपल्याला 7 वाजता ही आपली थोडी डेडलाईन आहे, सो आपण थोडंसं
Do we have this said or we can extend it?
I think we'll carry on.
Persistent, I think if we can.
5 मिनटं 5 मिनटं द्या ना प्लीज.
Okay.
माझा हा प्रश्न नाही पण एक माझा हे आहे रिक्वेस्ट आहे की माया केअर्सबद्दल जे इतकं मी वाचलं आहे आणि ऐकलं आहे तर आम्हाला सगळ्यांना आवडेल ऐकायला माया केअर्स काय करतात आणि त्यांचं आत्तापर्यंतचं कार्य काय आहे. तुम्ही ते फार मोठं काम करताय म्हणून मला हा प्रश्न विचारावासा वाटतो. पुस्तक तर वाचल्यावरतीच मी प्रश्न विचारणार आहे नंतर तुम्हाला फोनवरती.
आपण असं करूया की हे कारण आपल्याला रॅपअप करायला लागणार आहे. मायाकेरचे तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी हात वर करता का प्लीज. मायाकेरचे खूप मोठी संख्येने मायाकेरचे लोक आलेले आहेत तिथे. व्हेरी प्राऊड टू शो. आणि आमच्या ज्योती आहेत HR मॅनेजर खालती. ओके, सो आय थिंक व्हॉट यू डू इज आफ्टर दिस तुम्ही परत स्टॉलवर जा मायाकेरचे हे झाल्यानंतर आणि तुम्हाला आता सगळी मायाकेरची माहिती आहे. लेट पीपल कम अँड इंटरॅक्ट. जरा 5-10 मिनटं तिकडे मायाकेरमध्ये, कारण आपण सांगायला गेलो तर आम्ही दोघं मिळून 8 तास मायाकेरबद्दल बोलू शकतो, तो नको आज म्हणून. तर तिकडेच आपण घेऊया, पण जरूर कॉन्टॅक्ट करा. येस, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. आय थिंक विल.
हाय, माझं नाव संजना वैद्य. वर्क विथ मंजरी फॉर अ व्हेरी लॉंग टाईम अँड अ ग्रेट फ्रेंड. ज्वलंत विषय. आय डोंट नो, मोस्ट ऑफ यू नो टर्म जेन झी. म्हणजे आता माझा मुलगा जेन झी, जनरेशन झीमधला आहे. ती सगळी मुलं आत्ता या विषयावर चर्चा करतायत आणि घरात बोलतायत. इस्रायल पॅलेस्टाईन वॉर, आत्ता सगळीकडे जे रेसिझम रिलेटेड चालू आहेत गोष्टी. आणि मी रिसेंटली माझ्या मुलाचे विचार ऐकले. आय वॉज टोटली शॉक्ड. सो फिअरलेस, सो बोल्ड. एकतर एका बाजूने असं वाटत होतं की आय एम सो प्राऊड दॅट आय गेव हिम दिस लिबर्टी टू थिंक दॅट वे अँड द एज्युकेशन ऑर सपोर्ट ऑर द स्पेस दॅट ही हॅज. पण दुसऱ्या बाजूने खरंच मनातनं खूप भीती वाटत होती. हा जाऊन सोशल मीडियावर काहीतरी लिहून तर नाही टाकणार ना की पुढे त्याचा करिअरच संपवून जाईल त्याच्यामुळे. सो आय स्पोक टू हिम. आय सेड तुला माहिती आहे का याचे कॉन्सिक्वेन्सेस काय आहेत? तो म्हणाला मी स्टोरी टाकणार जिथे जिथे ह्युमॅनिटी इज चॅलेंज, द मोराल इज चॅलेंज. मी माझी स्टोरी टाकणार, तू मला काहीही सांग. सो आय वॉज व्हेरी प्राऊड टू हिअर दॅट. बट द क्वेश्चन टू यू इज मंजिरी, हे पुस्तक लिहिताना डिड यू हॅव एनीबडी अराउंड यू हू सेड आर यू शुअर यू वॉन्ट टू डू दिस? वर यू काइंड ऑफ काउन्सिल्ड नॉट टू डू इट? आत्ता कशाला? अँड हाऊ डिड यू स्टे अवे फ्रॉम दॅम?
Okay, why did you? We still have, right? People are still saying, why are you doing this? But people were also said, why are you doing Maya Care? People are saying many things. People also said 6 years ago, a disabled person cannot work, there are no jobs for disabled person. Lots of things can be said, but that's okay. I'm now 51 years old. If I don't say it now, when am I going to say it?
No, it is indeed commendable that you picked up the courage to write on this subject, and especially because Indians have become we are very silent people now. Yeah, what I said was it is indeed commendable that you picked up this most, a subject, explosive subject. Because today India is silenced. Even if you have your thoughts, you don't want to put them out in the social discourse. We cannot discuss. WhatsApp groups are poisoned. And like you said, that there is nothing gray, it's all black and white. And it is harming each one of us in different ways. And you've picked up the spirit and courage to rise and write it. And I think that this kind of literature should trend with you. Thank you.
So, Sanjana, it's not, of course, Vinita spoke about India, but even outside India, it's the same because people are afraid. People are really, really afraid. And they're afraid of this fact that I don't look like someone else. So, what is going to happen? So, a lot of it you find in this book. Are we, it's simple thing, can we wear this in central London? Maybe this, yes, but not what Parul is wearing. And more. So I won't go deeper into it. So it's a matter of fear, lot of fear. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Kishore.
Something, myself, Kishore Karandekar. This topic is quite serious. I think we can keep on exploring it. Just on the humorous side, this screen what you have, in the name of, then you got dots. The dots generally specify there are lot many more things are there. Similarly, you have some excerpts, and dots are there. Why the dots are missing? Kasha sati.
Mistake. Publishing mistake, which we will correct in the next education.
Yeah, because this topic, this topic is very serious, and it can be debated from either views, and there will not be any end to it. Recently, there had been one on a WhatsApp. I usually call it WhatsApp University. आपल्या प्रत्येकाच्या घरात नेपाळ आहे. This particular topic is something on the same line. What happened in Nepal, just people say, just because they banned some of the channels of social circles, the students revolted. Believe me, each one of us have kids in our house, I think somebody mentioned. You need to channelize that energy. If you do not, as a parents, I should not use the word parents, as a human being, for your next generation, you didn't guide the kids properly. In fact, you try to take out a mobile out of your small kid and see the reaction, what happens. This is what probably will figure out. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. On that note, तुम्ही जे विचारलं Maya Careचं, Nepal is so unhappy. But we are very proud to tell you Maya Care Nepal has started. So, yes. So far. But Maya Care Nepal has started and the same team here is going to run Maya Care Nepal. आणि त्याच्याबद्दलही तुम्ही. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank
I
you.
have a small question. Can I
Yes, please.
ask you? My name is Jayaraman. It was wonderful listening to what I think all of us are anyway feeling about what's happening in the world. Well-meaning people who realize that, we are slowly being eaten away by irrelevant factors being fed to us to poison us, to kind of gloss over things, having social media, like he said, Kishore, about WhatsApp, university, working overtime and so on. And this is a very timely reminder. And as Vinita rightly said, this is very important for every one of us. And I think nobody achieves anything without going beyond the boundaries of his own limits. You have to break out of the boundaries. That's when you achieve something. You have to, nobody climbed the Himalayas by sitting at home or just climbing up Sinhagad. No. Nobody ran the less than 4-minute mile without trying to outdo the thing. And this is very necessary. So each of us have a role to play. So how do you think, we all have things like, channelizing the future, the energy of the young people and things like that. Would you have a couple of tips which we all can kind of follow, do something? Because this would also give us some kind of a direction in which we all have to believe humanity is one. We are the ones who are creating divisions. We are the ones who are creating the problem, many of us by doing nothing about it.
It's a great question. I know you have many layered questions, and I'm sure there are a lot of other philosophers who can give you better answers, but I'll just tell you what I follow. That's very, very simple. That what I can't control, I don't look at. Okay, in our lifetime, we have tried with Maya Care. We can only look after elderly and give some, careers to disabled people. That's all we can do. In one lifetime, we cannot solve the water problem, corruption problem, environment problem, and all of that. So it's better to not let it enter. That's the first thing. Second thing, I was doing a leadership training workshop last week. Very interesting. One of my books is called The Business of Managing Emotions at the Workplace. ये book है वो 3 level पे हैं. One is नवरसा theory. राईट नवरस जे आपल्या मराठीमध्ये जे आपल्या संस्कृतमध्ये जे नवरस आहेत नवरसा थिअरी फर्स्ट पार्ट इन द परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स सेकंड मेडिकल साइंस और थर्ड मैनेजमेंट साइंस ओके सो दैट बुक टॉक्स अबाउट जब हमारे अंदर कुछ हो रहा है क्योंकि व्हेन वी आर डेमोन्स्ट्रेटिंग हास्य रस श्रृंगार रस क्रोध समथिंग इज हैपनिंग मेडिकली सो इट डिस्क्राइब्स व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन इट मेडिकली बट इट गिव्स यू मैनेजमेंट साइंस कि इससे डील कैसे करना है. And they're all workplace stories. So that was my other book. What I was teaching in this workshop, what do you do when people are behaving so badly? Like Mr. Jaraman's questions, people are behaving, they do everything in their control to provoke you. Right? That's what the world is doing. How come you're not reacting? So I made a very bold statement, which really satisfied me last week. When I said, one of the things we learn in performing arts, Adishri, you're here, is performing arts is Uttama, Adhama, Madhama. Right? There are Uttama, Madhyama, Adhama. There are 3 kinds of people behavior, personalities. Uttama is your Sri Ram, right? When was the last time Sri Ram lost his cool and shouted at anyone? That is what gods were, that's what our gods were meant to be, right? Shiva was different, but Uttama personality, that is his behavior, that is his personality, that is what is meant for him to be. Madhyama was Lakshman, that normally is fine, but if something happens, he can be boiling mad and he can do something. That is normal human beings. If somebody is really bad with us, we will address it. And third is Adhama personality. Adhama, the lowermost, we talk about Shurpankhar and we talk about Ravan. And, even if they've done good things in their life, because of the one terrible act, they will be remembered only for that. All the 10 heads of Ravana's, unless you go to Sri Lanka, I think Kalpana Taishi is an expert on Sri Lanka, but those 9 heads are gone, only 1 head we see because of the one thing he did. So these Adhama personalities. But in work life, in corporate life especially if you're a CEO of a company or if you're heading a company, you have no choice but to demonstrate only Uttama behavior when somebody else behaves badly. There is no choice. Now we have, 75, apart from our own other work, we have 72 cities of Maya Care, we have 4 cities of UK, we have Nepal. Every day we have new problems coming to Abhay. Every day. So we are the first ones. Our answer starts with sorry. My apologies on behalf of everyone in my team, my Maya Care, my everyone. That is the only Uttama personality to or option 2, walk away. Not to engage. So I'm going to tell you a very fun fact, and before we end, one of my other books, Bosses of the Wild, one of actually a lot of favorite books for most people. That's the favorite book. So in the favorite book is the animal behavior and personality types. 10 animals and their personality types. So the fun animal in that is hyena. Right? The worst animal in the world is hyena. Taras. जो मराठी में तरस जो हायना जे आहे ना तरस जो प्राणी आहे आपण कधीच पेशवे पार्कात तरस बघायला गेलो नाही आपण सिंह वाघच बघायला गेलो ना कोई लेता नहीं है अपने बच्चों को चलो तरस देख के आते हैं बिकॉज इट्स बैड वर्स्ट एनिमल तो जो लाइफ में वर्स्ट एंड दिस लास्ट 15 days I've conducted 3 workshops and on those every time people asking about हायना से कैसे डील करूँ ऑफिस में हायना से कैसे डील करूँ बताओ when people are behaving so badly they are continuously attacking you. So I said, if you have the power, take the hyena out of your life. There is no other, because it's cancer. All other diseases, headache, all other disease has some kind of medicine. The doctors will give it to you, you'll be fine. But cancer has only one therapy, na? There is now no other therapy available. As of now, at least. So that's the only thing. So either out, or you go away or let them go away. That's the only thing. Or you decide, it's going to be a very painful journey. In my life, finally, at the age of 51, first thing, Sanjana, I have written this book. Second thing, I have taken the hyenas out of my life. They're not even invited for book events anymore. So all of you can be rest assured, definitely you're not that personality. You're one of the other great personalities. No, really, this is very serious. Because why should I waste? We have very little time in life left. Very little time, and there is so much to do. Next 5 years of Maya Care to start with. मी सगळ्यांना मी सांगते की माया केअर इंडिपेंडेंट नाही झालं ना हे आता 60 होणार आहेत अभय जोशी दिसत नाहीत मी 51 ओके हू विल पे द सॅलरीज ऑफ माया केअर प्लीज विचार करा तुम्ही इफ वी डोंट अकम्प्लिश दॅट इन 5 years अँड प्रोजेक्ट बिंदू अँड इफ यू डोंट लेट देम वी हॅव अ लॉट टू डू सो वाय वेस्ट टाइम ऑन हायनर्स त्यांना वेळच नाही द्यायचा आहे सो आय होप दॅट आन्सर्स युअर उत्तमा पर्सनॅलिटी अँड हायना नमस्कार अँड आउट थँक्यू लेट्स एंड There is? Okay. Somebody else, sorry. Yes, Mrs. Samuel, please. This is Mrs. Sheila Samuel. She was my class teacher in 6th standard and then the principal of our school. And even when Mahi was in her school. Yes, and she comes for every book event. Yes, please.
Yes, I do want to congratulate you. And I don't have any questions, but I really appreciate कि आपकी मन की जो भावनाएं हैं और उनमें जो उथल पुथल चल रही हैं वो बड़ी प्रशंसनीय है स्तुति के योग्य है और मुझे जो अच्छी बात लगी कि अंग्रेज़ी में आपने जो बुक लिखी इन इंग्लिश यू रोट बट all that you are Diwali, this thing, the special, this thing, I like that you were able to put it in English and it was very effective. It had got impact on my mind, you know. ते मला खूप आवडलं की इंग्रजीतनं लिहिलंय परंतु बरोबर असं अगदी मराठीतलं म्हणजे आमच्या शेजारी एक मिसेस आम्ही त्यांना गोड बोले आंटी म्हणायचो मावशी किंवा काकू म्हणत नसे परंतु मला त्यांची खूप आठवण झाली आणि खूप कौतुक वाटलं की अशा रीतीनं ते लिहिले अँड ऑफकोर्स माया केअर आय एम व्हेरी फॉन्ड ऑफ आणि हे कसं होतं म्हणजे तुला असं उत्स्फूर्त कसं इंग्रजीतून लिहिता आलं हे मला जाणून घेण्याची थोडीशी इच्छा आहे पण आता वेळ झालेली आहे 2 मिनिटात सांगू
थँक्यू आणि तुम्हाला कोणालाही प्रश्न असेल मला 3 भाषा चांगल्या काय येतात तर तुम्ही त्यांचं 3 भाषा ऐकल्या आहेत कारण असंच आम्हाला शाळेत शिकवलं 3 भाषा उत्तम त्या शिकवायच्या सो का असं फर्स्ट थिंग द क्वेश्चन वॉज वाय द इंडियन पार्ट्स राईट वाय इंडियन पार्ट्स इन द बुक Yes, that is very, very, very important because apart from being a staunch, not staunch, I would say practicing Hindu, and like I said to Madhav, I am a practicing Hindu. Apart from being a practicing Hindu, I always carry the flag for Maharashtra, for Hinduism and for India, all 3. The flags are always there. Why, I'll ask you, because one of the people in Oxford, he is my professor and also a friend, so I gave him the book. So he opened it and was being very polite, and he said, "What is this Marathi translation? What is Marathi?" He said, "What is Marathi translation?" So my daughter said, "You should have said, na, language." She said, "No, my flag is not coming down." I said, "This is not a dialect. This is my mother tongue. It is a flourishing language with its own flourishing literature, culture, history, and theatre." So this is where it comes from. I'm immensely proud of where we come from. And it's very important to explain to them. So when, I think Mr. Ranade just left, but Mr. Ranade's daughter was here for the UK book launch. So that's what I told her. Thanks to the education we got, and thanks to the exposure we got, we are equally easy to talk to anybody who comes from Sadashivpet or somebody who comes from Oxford or London. It's fine. Because we are the same. Why should we be different? We are explaining what we are, right, to them. So, and that's very important. If we don't explain ourselves to the world, they will have enough reasons to be very wary of us and afraid of us. At least don't be afraid of us. In fact, I used to tell my British colleagues in this last role. So, because after all this, he asked me, a person called David, "Our dean is Hindu, right?" "I don't know." So I said, "Look, his surname sounds Hindu to me. As far as I know, he's not converted, so I'm assuming he is. How does it matter?" But I said, "Don't worry, you asked me," because British people don't know. They don't know the difference between a lot of things which we think, it's very easy for us to know a lot of difference. One of the bad things which also happened is through all this, I couldn't approach any Jewish people. Because right now, it's the anti-Semitism. The anti-Jewish sentiment is the highest in UK, highest. So this lady used to write emails to me. She's saying, "You're celebrating everyone's festival. You're not celebrating this Jewish thing." I said, "You come forward. I don't know how to do it. I might do it wrong. I'm trying because everyone else has come forward. You do it." No, I don't want to expose myself that I'm Jewish. They're so scared. So I said, besides, I don't have this tactic, right? If I know that someone's called Kartar Singh, I ask them, "Can you do Baisakhi for me?" I don't have this tactic with Jewish people. So I said, "You have to help me." So this is where we have to go out into the world and take India with us. Take not just India with us, but everything which is right about us, say it with great pride, that this is where we are. There is nothing wrong with anything we do. And don't misunderstand. Don't create impressions about ourselves on so many counts. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. That was the last question. We thank you for your participation. Thank you, Manjiri. And I hope you will stop by the book stall and purchase many books. And the Maya Care stall. Thank you, everyone.